Jim Utter has a question over here. Dennis?
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. Jeff, this kind of goes back a little bit to what Mike Mulhern asked, but as an outside observer, almost every week it seems this season there's been a dust-up with some two drivers after the race, and people wonder, is it going to continue into the next one? And everyone talks about how rivalries have made this sport, but in a lot of those discussions, it usually was like long-term rivalries that lasted a while. Are the days of those long-term rivalries in the past, whether it be because of the chase or just the fact that, what I think you've even said this before, last week was last week and this is this week?
Well, I think part of it is that we race more. I know that sounds silly, but you know, the difference between racing 32 races and 38 races, you wouldn't think is a lot, but it really is. You almost have to get over things more. The other thing is, 20 years ago, the number of teams that could be rivals was a much less number. Today, you're much more apt to have an issue with someone and then have another issue with someone else the next week. So I think there's a lot of circumstances. It's just more competitive than it's ever been, and there's more opportunity to be involved with more people than it's ever been. So I don't think there's much of a continuation for a couple reasons. The first reason is you kind of have to get over it. You kind of have to move along. And the price, it seems to me that the price for having poor finishes is larger today than it's ever been. I know that we put 12 people in an opportunity to win the championship with 10 to go, and we've never had that before. But it's turned into a 26-race schedule, and it's hard to make up points. And I think that people realize when you get in those scuff-ups that you have the potential for having those bad days. And I just think it's a bigger price to pay. If you look at 15, 20 years ago, you look at to win the championship, people were averaging like 12th, 15th place finishes. So it was more acceptable to have a bad day. And I think today everybody's scared to death to have a bad day. And I think that has a lot to do with it. You have to think about what the long-term good for you is. And the other thing is, it's just more people that you have to pay attention to. You know, you're racing Kyle Busch this week, and you got something going on. Well, next week you got Jimmy Johnson you got to race, and the next week you got, Kevin Harvick you got to race. It just, the competition's so high, and I think those two are the biggest reasons why you don't see this continued thing that happens. And sometimes we talk about rivalries. I'm not sure that's the right word. Rivalries are two guys that at any time beat each other. And a lot of times these rivalries is a guy that typically does a lot better than the other guy. And the other guy's, wanting to knock him off, but he hadn't found a way to do it. And it's a little different than a true rivalry, I think.
Any other questions for Jeff? Kenny Bruce, and then the gentleman in the back, and then we'll end with Nate. Go ahead.
Turn those flashes off, please.
Kenny Bruce, SceneDaily.com.
Oh, seriously. Thank you.
Jeff, you kind of touched on this just a minute ago, and I don't know if you talked about it before or not, but do you find that you're racing, there are more people now, not necessarily just with a green-white checkered, but late in the race with a double file restarts, that you have a lot more people now that are trying to get to the front in as few laps as possible? Where before you had like a handful of people you would race at the end of it. Now you got somebody in 22nd going, I can get a top 10 if I can knock my way up there.
The big difference in a double file restart is that it used to be that your mentality was, I got to clear the lap car and then deal with the guy behind me. And the guy behind me is the guy that's in the same lap you're in, racing for that position. Today, when they drop the green, you got the guy that's on the inside, the guy behind you, everybody in that pack is viewing this as an opportunity to improve their position. And people know that if you can get by somebody, it's going to take you a while to get back by them. And so everybody's trying to get those spots on restarts. And you put all the lap cars, all the fast cars in one wad. It's crazy. I mean, these restarts, it's just unbelievable how aggressive they are. And it's made much better racing. It's by far the right thing to do. But it just puts all the good cars in a big wad, and that's, everybody views that as an opportunity to go pick up positions.
Raise your hand back there. We'll get him a wireless, please.
Robert DeRogi from BRD Broadcasting. Jeff, here at Michigan, a lot of the drivers talk about you run wide open. That leaves two factors, one, tire wear and fuel mileage. Which one do you think is going to play the most important part Sunday?
Well, our cars, you can't even come close to running wide open all the way around the racetrack. I mean, you're not even close to that here. Matter of fact, with our cars, almost nowhere can you really, except for Daytona Talladega, there's nowhere you can run wide open. This track is a very low grip 2-mile racetrack, and its handling is huge. Goodyear has done a great job this year of bringing a much more aggressive tire that makes more grip. But we've seen people stay out and use track position to get better finishes. So until we really start running, we really don't know. But the one thing that we do know, that there'll be a time in the race where you have to make a decision. Are more tires going to make my situation better, or am I better off staying out? But you never, fuel mileage is always an issue, and it will be an issue this week.
Go ahead, Nate.
Jeff, Kyle Busch was asked if Logano going up to Harvick after the race showed anything, and Busch's answer was that it didn't show a lot. What shows is if he retaliates, that driving up to someone on pit road and running your mouth doesn't do a whole lot. Do you agree with, is the only way for a driver to, if he feels if he's been disrespected on the track, is the only way to get that perceived respect to retaliate on the track, or can you get respect by speaking your mind off the track?
Depends on who you are and who you're dealing with. There's some people that you could talk to them till you're blue in the face and they're tired of hearing you, and there's nothing good gonna come from that. And there's other people that you can have conversations with and make headway. Some guys are just really hard-headed, and the only way to make them understand is to make them pay the price. But the majority of people, a conversation can be had, and a lot can be gained from that.
Jeff, thanks for stopping in, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.